Welcome to Konoha Crush, a clandestine effort to exhaustively research and document events occurring in and around the village hidden in the leaves. I'm Halo.
It's Mel.
Oh my god, hi Mel. Oh my god.
Hey.
It's been some amount of time that I can't fucking remember since we last recorded an episode of this podcast, but we're back.
Fuck yeah, we are.
Yeah, hell yeah, we're back. Hell yeah. What have you been up to? Have you been up to anything in the last little while?
That's an interesting question. It's been a long time, so probably.
Probably, right? I mean, that's kind of where I'm at too. Like, probably I did something. Like, where do you even begin? Like, I don't know. I think I played like a million video games since the last time this podcast recorded. I played an unreasonable amount of Fate Grand Order. I played 2 Dragon Quest games. Like, I don't know. What do you even say on a podcast? How do you do this? How did we do this back when we did this? I mean, it hasn't actually been that long, right? Like, I think we've probably had like bigger breaks.
It hasn't been that long.
Right? But like, I'm just like...
Right.
But like, usually when we have bigger breaks, it's like a little less like, oh, each week something comes up, and then we're like, oh, I'm not doing this week, right? But now...
Right.
So like... It just feels like weird to be back on our feet here, but like, hey, I'm like all for it. I'm like ready to like get back into it, right? I just don't know what to like even do with this first segment.
Right. I mean, like, I played Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm, a lot of it on stream for 2 weeks.
Yeah, we did that on our stream. Well, your stream, but you know, it's like...
Yeah. I mean, I'm probably gonna have finished it by the time this comes out. Like, I'm thinking probably we're gonna do Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm again on Friday, just because, like, I'm going to see a movie that day, and, like, our normal stream time should be about when the movie ends, so...
We'll see what happens.
So there might be, like, a late start Naruto stream.
Yeah, so, like, if you want to listen, if you're, like, listening to this podcast, like, when it comes out on Patreon or whatever, or, like, I guess when it comes out on the main feed, like, probably the VOD will still be up on Twitch, and then if you go later, the VOD will probably be on the YouTube instead. But, like, there's some streams where really, like, shoot the shit about Naruto, if you're, like, into that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah, so if you're interested, check us out, twitch.tv/Guinevere
Yeah, we got a friend on who had like a truly like staggering beautiful lack of knowledge about Naruto, and that was a delight.
Yeah. Oh my god.
It's
hard for us to find those.
Right. I mean, I feel like the people around us have like a tendency to learn more about Naruto than they could ever want to know. So like,
yeah.
So like, you know, that it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. I don't know. Do we just want to get into fucking the actual episodes then? Because it seems like we're not getting into talking about like what we're up to.
Yeah, let's just get into the episodes.
Okay, yeah. I mean, you know, so it's sort of like a boon for us, like coming into like this stretch. Is that like, hey, our three episodes of Naruto have like nothing to fucking do with anything.
Right. God, can you imagine if we had to have like kept up with what would have been going on in like the arc? Oh my god.
Oh my god. No way.
Okay. Let's go. Episode 158. Follow my lead. The Great Survival Challenge. Oh shit. A Konohamaru episode. The Academy is doing an activity day, and Naruto gets roped into watching Konohamaru's group. Iruka explains the event as a 2-day-long training mission, a glorified hike through the woods, with teachers posing as bad guys. Naruto hears that it's going to be a competition and is immediately pumped to win. We see some of Naruto's friends teach their group of kids survival skills, where Naruto just kinda goofs it, repeatedly. The pretend bad guys finally swoop in, and Naruto leads the kids in trying to sexy jutsu them. But Shikamaru's there, and like gay, right? So it doesn't work. It starts storming pretty bad, and Naruto's team is having trouble erecting their tent. The grown-ups learn about the storm and call off the exercise. And Naruto decides to take his children off-route to try and shortcut.
Okay, alright, so
it's one of these again.
It's one of these again, right? Like, it's very...
Yeah.
It's an episode where Naruto goes into a situation, you get some Naruto jokes, and you get, like, a vague, like, kind of, like, emotional resolution at the end. I think that this, like... I mean, like, all of our episodes this week, right? But, like, this episode, like, in particular, I feel like it's, like, sort of setting this, like, blueprint that, like, I'm curious if this is what the show is going to be like for a while, right? Because Sasuke doesn't come up at all during this episode. Like, there's like a flashback later on to like a scene that Sasuke was in, but like nobody talks about Sasuke, right? And nobody talks about Sasuke in any of these episodes. Instead, we got like Naruto as this guy who like he goes into a situation, he kind of blusters around, and he like maybe fucks it up or whatever. But things like resolve in a way that's like emotionally alright for everybody. But then like the mission doesn't go through, and he gets yelled at about it, right? Like that is like this weird like recurring theme throughout our episodes this week. And I'm like, is this just what the show is for the next like 60 episodes? Like, is this what we're looking at until we get out of here? I genuinely don't know, but like it really does feel like a stark like step towards like, oh, okay, we're not pretending that we're gonna find Sasuke every week. Like that's just not happening.
Yeah. Which is good. It's refreshing to have this not be about Sasuke for like once ever.
Right. I mean, it is definitely like, it feels like a step in the right direction in terms of like, well, maybe the arc should be about something on its own rather than like trying to like connect to something that like it's just not going to connect to in any meaningful way.
Mm-hmm.
But also this episode's like kind of a mess.
Yeah.
Like it's very.
I mean, it's very like Naruto hangs out with the children and learns a valuable lesson.
Right. But it and like along the way, I feel like is like frequently like excessively dumb or mean.
Right.
And so it's like we're just very strongly in that mold, and it's like never my favorite way for Naruto to be. But like we'll talk about the stuff that happens here as best as we can, right?
Yeah. So like. Funny Naruto's back.
Yeah, he's funny now.
Funny Naruto's back. He's funny again. It's just like they could have put this episode wherever,
right?
Before like like wherever before Haku, and this is a good episode. I mean, except for like all of the things that would like preclude it from like fitting there in the timeline, right? Like Tsunade's there and everything, right?
Yeah, but like Shikamaru's tuning, so he doesn't have to look after babies. Yeah, it's just very like,
but like characterization and like Naruto as a character and like the ways that he interacts with these kids and stuff. It's like so very early Naruto. Like again,
right? I mean, like the like this is getting way ahead of ourselves, right? But like to that sense, like, oh, this is so early Naruto. Like the thing that Naruto like reflects back on to like teach kids a lesson is like something that happens in like episode 3 of Naruto or whatever, right? Yeah. Like episode 6. I don't remember when the fucking like Kakashi bell test is, but like it's very very early, right?
Yeah.
It's like there's no like real reflection of like where the character's been since then. He's just like here to like teach the kids this like very like specific like kind of like stuck out of time lesson about it's like I'm getting way ahead of ourselves, right? But like the like learning a lesson thing also like feels kind of weird to me. But I don't know. A key thing about like funny Naruto in this episode, right, is that like in the absence of like having the like, oh, I want to go find Sasuke thing, you just kind of get like a version of Naruto that doesn't seem to care about anything at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like he has no like real like.
Well, he wants to be the Hokage.
He wants to be the Hokage. Yeah, he gets like he learns about the mission to like help like teach these kids. Like is like paired up with these like kids that he like knows and like knows like up to him and like. Generally seems to want to think like he's cool, right? But he's like, fuck this, I hate this. Then they're like, oh, but if this is actually like training to be a Hokage, and he's like, actually, I love doing this. This is the most important thing. And it's like, I just don't, I don't know why we go so hard in this direction of him just not having any like attachment to anything in the world other than like if you read like a 2-sentence summary of what his character was at the start of Naruto, right?
Right.
Yeah, like to that like. The thing about Naruto being so, like, unspecifically, like, just, like, comedy Naruto, like, no attachments to, like, anything, is that, like, regularly as he's, like, going out on his, like, baby survival mission, he's, like, leading them out into the woods, right? Like, regularly as he's doing all of that, like, he's just, like, fucking up, but we keep getting cuts over to, like, the other, like, leaf gunning who are, like, they're doing things that are, like, vaguely, like, characteristic of them, like, on some level, right? Like,
Right, like it's cute. Like we see like Choji teaching the kids about like wild edibles,
right?
And
like
a
little iffy that like Choji is the guy who like knows what food is or whatever, right? Like it'd be cool if he like got some like, separation from it, but like it's still like a nice scene as he's like pointing out like these different like ways of like finding out like what plants are safe to eat, and like it's like cute, right? And like Neji is like doing some like nerd shit about how you can like find the like. You like if your compass isn't working, you can like find the direction from like your watch or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like Lee's getting like really hyped up about like the kids thinking he's cool, right? It's like you get like little like glimpses of like other characters like doing stuff that like feels like, you know, okay, this is like a cute little scene with him, and then Naruto is just like, what if he was like bad at things and yelling at children?
Yeah, yeah. What if Naruto just like sucked ass at everything again?
Uh-huh.
And also like hated kids.
Also,
again.
he hated kids. Like these specific kids he seems to hate especially.
Yeah. Which like isn't the it's just not the guy we know.
Right.
Like Naruto was officially like pretty good at a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like that boy knows the Rasengan.
Yeah. I mean, he's gonna do it like later in the episode.
Literally, he's gonna do it later in the episode. Like, he's gone on like real extended missions. Like, does he not know like the kinds of food that you like? This is way ahead of ourselves here,
right?
But like the scene where he like picks it up from the fucking convenience store or whatever is like still
yeah, right.
Here,
Like he's still like it's still like a joke. Like, oh, he's just like buying like instant ramen or whatever, and they go into survival exercise, right? And like it's like, you know, as it's like paired against like Choji's like foraging tips, right? It's like,
yeah,
it's just like, again, like this sort of like staggering like lack of desire to like invest anything in like Naruto as a character who could like I don't know, like maybe I'm overthinking it, but it is just kind of frustrating, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like, yeah, like I feel like the jokes just aren't that like good, right?
Yeah, I mean that's the crux of it, right? Like it's just not a funny episode either.
Right? Yeah, you know, there's the like there's this bit like partway through the episode where it's like, oh, you know, Naruto is like trying to like lead them through this area following the map, but then he gets them lost and they kind of wind up back where they started, right? And it's like trying to go through a bit like, oh, all the kids are like, it's gonna be easy for me to use the map and get us somewhere, but then they also just lead them back to the same spot. But like it's just like edited this weird and frantic way where like there's one bit where like it cuts basically from a shot of like Konoha like looking at the map to then being confused looking at the map, and it's like it doesn't even like outside of the structure of the joke, it barely even bothers like showing us that they went anywhere. It's just like I don't know, like it just there's no like energy like visually or like in terms of like the actual like writing of the jokes to like carry anything, right? It's just really flat. It's just really weak, right? Like, you know, the like most like visually like exciting part of the episode is when they do like a big extended sexy jutsu gag where they got like Nozomu Abe shows up and like animates the hell out of it for no reason. Like it's not like,
yeah, it's not good to see, or
yeah, it's not more worthwhile than the last time we saw it or whatever, right? But they sure do it, right? Like they sure do like hit that beat as like the thing we do when we're making like a jokes episode.
Yeah,
it sucks. It's like it's just not that good of a joke. It like sucks every time basically. Like as you point out in your summary, it does like the implication that Shikamaru is just uncompelled by sexy women is
strong.
Yeah.
I think it's the best piece of characterization in this yet.
Yeah, right. Because he's like gay or whatever. Yeah, that's fine. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I have to say about this half of the episode, right? Like it's very much like, yeah, I mean, you know, Naruto's like, oh, we're gonna go and like take the shortcut, and the storm is coming in, and then we move on to the next part. But like I feel like talking about the substance of that is like, yeah, we'll get into that in the second half of it.
Yeah. So you're ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm ready to move on.
Yeah. Okay. Naruto marches up a cliff face, but the kids don't know how to walk on walls yet, so they're just climbing in the rain. The kids take shelter in a cave. Naruto mostly only brought like cup ramen. They can't boil water, so Naruto gives the kids all the cake he brought. They don't like that he's giving up his share, so they give him some anyway. They keep climbing, and Naruto gets boulder hurt from the unstable mountain. So the kids work together to pick up rocks. Iruka and Shikamaru arrive at the scene, and everything's a-okay.
Okay, right. So, as you said, like, this is part of the episode starts where like Naruto's like climbing up a cliff, right? We get like this bit of like, it looks like Naruto's like walking like on flat ground. He's like yelling back at the kids who are being slow, but then the camera rotates to reveal he's like walking up a wall, and he's like forcing the kids to like climb up the wall in the rain, which like again, like very directly said in the summary, but like it's just like this is one of those things that I feel like it really like trends to like Naruto being like kind of dumb and mean, where I don't like, because like this is extremely dangerous.
Yeah.
Like Naruto couldn't do the shit that he's asking them to do, probably. He's not like a fucking like rock climbing guy. It's just like
Like,
just
Naruto can get up that wall because he has magic feet. Like,
yeah. They don't learn magic feet in fucking elementary school. They don't learn anything in elementary school.
They learn substitution and clone jutsu.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're told to kill.
So there's just this element of like Naruto is putting these children in like extreme peril and like yelling at them because they're in danger about it, right? It's just like it's just a weird vibe, and like it doesn't really work, right? Like I don't know why this is where he's at, right? I don't know why like this is like the vision of Naruto is somebody who's like completely blinded by like Tsunade said the word Hokage to him once, and so he was like, oh, I need to like win this children's training exercise, so I'm going to like put these kids in like life or death mountain climbing peril for no fucking reason. It's just like so fucking like over the top, right? And like they wind up like taking shelter in a cave partway up the way, and he's like really mad at them. He's like yelling at them about how like, oh, if you guys weren't here, I'd have finished this mission already. Which is like, I mean, like, it's like a decent enough joke construction, I guess, but it's like it's just frustrating because it's like I don't know, like he's just like collapsed into like being interested in only exactly as one point in a way that is like it doesn't fucking mean anything. It doesn't fucking like. I just don't like dumb mean Naruto. I don't like this like characterization of him that we like lean back on when it's time to do jokes episodes sometimes. I've probably said this a million times before. Like hopefully I won't have to say it too many more times. Yeah. But it's just like it's just not fun to me. It's not funny. It's not like I don't know.
Yeah. I just hope that like Shippuden establishes like a new baseline that is further along.
Right. Yeah, that would be nice. And I definitely don't remember like Shippuden ever being like this, like quite so extreme about like where it goes with its like, you know, like joke episodes or whatever. But like we'll see. I could have forgotten all kinds of things. You know, there's like 500 episodes of that shit.
Yeah. Right. Like who knows?
Okay, but yeah, you know, they're all in the cave and like they yell at each other for a while, and then eventually they're like hungry enough to they have to stop yelling, and Naruto's like, okay, I'm gonna do my like good team leader thing where I'm gonna like give you the food and I'm gonna go hungry, and I'm gonna like flash back to this like lesson about teamwork I learned with like Sakura and Sasuke that isn't actually that applicable to like this scene, because this is like this isn't really like a story about like them all needing to work together better. It's about like Naruto like disregarding the safety of these children and putting them in a dangerous situation because he like wants to win at mentoring children, right? Like it doesn't actually like connect, right? Like it feels in many ways like the episode is like trying to build around this emotional center of like, oh, Naruto is going to like remember this experience he had, and he's gonna like pay that forward by like being good to these kids here, except it's like it's just a different thing.
Yeah.
And so it all like kind of falls flat. And also like again, like the thing that happens after this moment isn't Naruto being like, oh shit, I put these kids in danger. It's like, okay, we like sat and we had like a snack, so now we're gonna keep climbing the fucking dangerous wet mountain in the middle of the storm.
Right. Like it's like they keep doing the thing that is the fuck up, right? Like
right, yeah.
Oh my god.
And like it winds up like going forward from that moment, be like, oh, the kids learned a lesson about teamwork, and it's like I don't know that they needed to, right? Like I don't
know.
Like Naruto is both the guy who is in the wrong to like this extreme that they make a joke out of, and also like they try to make him be the guy who has like the wisdom to dispense to these children, but like there's just it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work.
Yeah. Right. Like the plot in this one is just kind of it's just ill-conceived, right? Like I wish there was like a like I get the beats that they're trying to hit.
Mm-hmm. It'd be cool if there were like a story that like accommodated them, and like maybe right. Like jokes that like landed in terms of like what the like thing they were trying to do is or whatever, right? Like maybe if this was an episode about like, you know, the like three kids like all trying to like show off for Naruto in a way that like made them keep getting in the way of each other or whatever, then you could have like Naruto right. Like pulling on his experience of like the time when he and Sakura and Sasuke all like failed to like pass the bell test because they were all like doing shit individually or whatever, right? Like
yeah.
But instead it's an episode where Naruto keeps fucking up until he has a lesson to teach some kids who don't seem like they needed it. Because, like, when they were doing the, like, bad sexy jutsu, like, joke, they, like, did, like, a team-up attack that worked well, worked better than Naruto's, like, thing that he did on his own or whatever, right? So it's, like, there's no grounding for, like, the emotional core of the episode, and then they climb the rocks more, and then we have, like, some action scenes that are basically just rocks keep falling on Naruto.
Naruto just keeps getting boulder hurt.
Right. Like some rocks fall on him. He's like, don't worry, I've got this. He lets the rocks fall on him. He's like, okay, you kids get out of here. And they're like, no, we learned about teamwork now. We're going to climb the mountain even further higher up to go pull rocks off of you. And he's like, wow, I really taught you well. And then they throw the rocks off of him. But then before they can leave, more rocks fall on him. But this time he handles it on his own.
Right.
And it's like...
This episode just, like, really doesn't land.
It doesn't really work. It doesn't really work, right?
I mean, you hate to see it, but at least it's a solo.
Yeah, at least we're, like, done after this, right? Like, they go back to the village, and, like, you know, they're all, like, talking about what happened to, like, Tsunade, and, like, fucking Konoha are like, yeah, Naruto put us extremely in danger for, like, no reason, and then, like, he gets yelled at, and then the episode ends.
Yeah, which, true.
Yeah, true. Like, true. I don't know. Are we good here? Are we done here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, let's move on.
Yay!
Yay!
Oh my god, we're in it. These are my favorite episodes.
You're, like, really high on these. I'm excited to talk about them with you.
Episode 159, Bounty Hunter from the Wilderness. Naruto and Hinata have a gay little picnic on the way to their cowboy mission at the cowboy town to track down some thief or whatever. Kiba's here too. Then they get into town and stomp into the goon saloon, and nearly get laughed out of the building before Naruto flashes his stuffed wallet. So the nearest huge bald man tries to rob them. Naruto sends him through a table. The whole place is ready for a fight when a mysterious cowboy swords bitch takes out the bald guy and leaves the saloon guy with his bounty to pay for the damages. Naruto runs after her, asking for her name, and she introduces herself as Sazanami, a bounty hunter. Naruto asks her about their target, and Sazanami says he's like a real dangerous killer guy. She leads the kids out of town with the promise of food.
Alright, so I feel like this arc is, like, largely characterized by, like, two facts that are basically the same fact, right? Like, I don't know the exact, like, way that, like, you know, the scheduling bore out in this, or, like, you know, like, I don't know exactly how it's worked out, but, like, you know, it very much feels like they're like, hey, you're never gonna believe who we got into the fucking studio for 2 episodes. Fucking Shuichi Ikeda. Like, this,
fucking
like,
Steve Bloom.
Steve Bloom is always there. It's not fucking special to get Steve Bloom in here for Naruto, right? Like, Shuichi Ikeda is, like, you know, for those who don't know, he like, plays Char Aznable in Gundam, right? Like, a handful of roles, but that's, like, the big one for him, right? Like, you know. And so like, it feels very much like they were, like, creating, like, a cool guy for him to play, right? And the other fact is, like, oh shit, you know how long we have Shuichi Ikeda in the studio for? Only 2 episodes.
Yeah.
And so they gotta fucking go, right? Like, this is
like, literally, they, like, made these 2 episodes and were like, okay, we have this voice actor, we have to make the coolest guy in Naruto now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she's great!
God. Before we get into that, right? I mean, I think it's very funny that in your summary you describe the scene at the beginning as a gay little picnic, because I feel like it's like it's just the most, like, compact gravity version of, like, Naruto and Hinata here, right? Like, it's very much like Naruto is just being, like, kind of annoying and, like, talking over her, not taking her seriously, but then he tells her that she'll be, like, a good wife someday, and she, like, blushes about it, right?
Yeah, like, literally, like, the summaries are written with, like, fucking rose-tinted pretending this is good glasses a lot of the time.
Yeah, no, I get how it is, right?
Right, I mean, that's just like a fun way to, like, inject so some, like, character into them, and, like, you know, we actually talk about, like, you know, the reality of the situation when we talk about the actual episodes, right? So, like, you know, I think it's fun and fine.
Yeah, no, I'm not, like, criticizing you. I'm just being, like, you know, it's funny that it works out like that. But it's also, like, a kind of a weird scene to me in the sense that, like, it starts off and there's like beautiful field of flowers, and, like, the sun is shining brightly. It's like, it is the sort of scene that, like, I just sort of assumed instantly when I was watching it. It's like, oh, this is, like, an imagined spot where, like, Hinata is, like, imagining, like, a great day with Naruto or whatever, but, like, it is just, like, a literal thing happening.
Right, I love that I love that the way to Cowboy Town is, like, the Hidden Leaf, right? Then at some point you go through forest because you're leaving the Hidden Leaf, right? And you just gotta leave woods. You just gotta run through woods to do that.
You go through like a beautiful path, like a wonderful field of flowers. It's so peaceful. Everything is right with the world. There's nothing wrong that could ever happen here.
Barren desert cowboy town.
Right. No, like the fucking hard cut from like, oh, what a wonderful field of flowers to like, it's fucking cowboy town. It's all fucking like sand and rocks. It looks like shit out here. It's so beautiful.
Fuck yes.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Naruto hates missions lately.
Yeah, Naruto fucking hates that he's here. Like Naruto hates that he's like doing this one. He's like there's not even the sense of like, oh, I should be like going for Sasuke, because again, they don't talk about Sasuke in these episodes. They're like past that. Sorry, what were you saying?
No, I mean, I was just saying, like, glad that they don't talk about Sasuke, but, like, I wish Naruto could be, like, normal.
Right, like, I wish there was, like, some, like, framework of, like, oh, you know, he wants to, like, do well on his missions, like, perform good for the leaf or whatever, right? Like, maybe somebody could be like, oh, here, like, you could have, like, a scene in, like, one episode where somebody showed him, like, a mission record of, like, people who became Hokage. And it's like, hey, you know, Sasuke isn't here right now, and, like, Jiraiya isn't here right now, but if you keep, like, racking up, like, missions or whatever, like, that's gonna look good for you later or whatever, right? They could have done, like, anything, right? And I know that was, like, that's kind of, like, leaning back towards the thing we didn't like about, like, you know, him, like, being blinded by somebody saying the word Hokage, like, the previous episode, but, like, it's just, like... It's weird that his default stance is to, like, not care about the story and be like, I don't want to go on this mission because, like, what if Jiraiya comes back while I'm gone? Which is, like, he's just, like, waiting to not be in the show that he's in right now.
Yeah, right? And, like, but like, it's also different, right? Because, like, that last mission was babysitting.
Right, yeah.
And it didn't feel good that he was excited about it. Like, he was tricked into, like, doing it because, like, oh, Hokage, because it was babysitting.
Right.
And, like, you know, the scale of it was much lower, but, like, Naruto should be stoked about this kind of mission.
Right, like, if he's just, like, doing his job or whatever, right? And, like, that's, like, again, like, it's very strange that, like, Naruto's, like, oh, I don't care about this when he was, like, thing that he does when he's, like, fucking, like, going to weed somebody's garden or, like, find a lost cat or whatever is, like, immediately transplanted over, like, oh, you need to go find this, like, dangerous, like, wanted criminal or whatever. And, like, I guess, like, the criminal sort of assumes to not be a big deal by the leaf or whatever, but still, it's right. Like, he's, like, going to a place he's never been before. He's, like, he's got to, like, fight, like a bandit guy or whatever. It's like, you know, like, even if it's not a big deal, it's, like, this isn't the, like, level of, like, what a baby bullshit mission is, like, as has been established previously. Yeah, right? Like, if Naruto considers this kind of thing baby bullshit missions now, like, that's growth we haven't seen. But he shouldn't. He should be, like, excited to, like, you know... Yeah, I mean, I guess he, like, killed, like, one of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist in the previous arcs or whatever, but...
Right. But, like, that's not... But, like, he's not being jaded about that, right? He's not being like, a lowly thief, I already killed one of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist, or whatever, right? Like,
right. It's not, like, positioned anything other than, like, the default, like, assumed stance of Naruto is to, like, not care about the thing that he's doing for some reason.
Yeah. Right? That's such, like, a weird, that's such a weird choice for him in this, like, little stretch of anime original stuff, right? Like, maybe they're trying to, like, sandbag him being very, like, blasé about what's going on here, so, like, to, like, avoid situations where you would go, like, why doesn't Naruto, like, talk about this ever? Why is Naruto affected by this and, like, the broader scope of Naruto?
Wait, what do you mean?
Well, okay, so, like, if something, like, profound happens, right?
Yeah.
If something, like, you know...
So you think he's, like, trying to, like, set the table with, like, oh, Naruto doesn't care about this, so when he never talks about it again, it's fine?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. Do you have anything else you want to say about, like, Naruto's, like, fucking, like, weird disinterested in the plot, or do I want to talk about fucking Cowboy World?
I want to talk about fucking Cowboy World. Are you kidding me?
Oh my god, it's awesome.
This fucking rules. Okay, so, like, something that, like, Naruto does is that, like, especially in this, like, first stretch of Naruto, like, it like, it takes its, like, visual style and runs with it for, like, you know, after. But, like, especially, like, early parts of Naruto are, like, really leaning on this, like, really interesting, like, modern day Sengoku period. Kind of thing.
Like,
you
it's,
know, and then, like,
it's just this kind of like anachronistic blur of like,
right.
where we've got like basic computers and like occasionally there's like a car or whatever, right?
Right. But then also like, you know, everyone's like walking around with like swords and stuff, and like stylistically a lot of the, like architecture and and like costuming of like, you know, not major characters, because everyone has their fucking like anime protagonist design, right? But like a lot of the like background stuff, like background ninja and everything, has this like very very like old timey like Warring States period Japan stuff. And I am like genuinely like really really impressed how they managed to like blend Cowboy in on that also, right? Like,
Right, yeah. Just like you spend like a few minutes like scrolling through this town with all these fucking incredible guys in the background, right? Like,
right. Oh my god. Like, these episodes are amazing. Like, just that alone, just like introducing that flavor into the setting like very very seamlessly, like it doesn't not read like a Naruto town, right? Like, it doesn't not read like a weird like Naruto like village where like things are kind of like grimy and weird, right? Because like Naruto always does this thing where it's just like the Hidden Leaf Village, it's like a kids anime like ninja village school place, right? Like it's very like portrayal wise, it's very like, it's like a nice place to be. It's like bright and cheery, right? And like a lot of the like outside places in Naruto is very like, there are a lot of other places that are like very very gritty and like, you know,
yeah, absolutely,
a little bit scary and like have a little bit more of like a dour tone, and like that like the Hidden Leaf and like some like other like villages that are like basically the places that like Jiraiya takes Naruto in the like Looking for Tsunade arc, right? Like a lot of those places also have that same kind of like levity in the like atmosphere, right? But like, you know, Naruto has like all kinds of like weird gritty towns off in the corner of nowhere, right? But
right.
like this one involving like very very specifically like cowboy aesthetics like blends into that like vibe that like Naruto has a lot, like really really well. Or instead of being like a shitty fishing village, it's just like a weird fucking like,
here's the fucking cowboy town that seems to be basically like entirely full of like cowboy taverns with guys like slouching around the outsides and like looking out into like the one street through town menacingly.
Right. Exactly.
Like it's just so extreme, but like not, but like it's just like fun enough and like so like committed to the specific idea of what it is that like I feel like it doesn't like wind up like I'm not here to like have questions about Cowboy Town or whatever. Like I don't need to know like how Cowboy Town works, right?
Yeah, it's Cowboy Town.
It's Cowboy Town. You got all the fucking like wanted posters up everywhere,
and the fucking bounty hunters.
Yeah. Fuck
oh
yeah.
My god. I love this little like weird little corner of cowboy dimension in the fucking Naruto world.
It's great.
It just has to exist now. Like, there is like, oh my god, Cowboy Arc rules.
Cowboy Arc is a really beautiful and singular experience.
Yeah. We gotta talk about Sazanami.
We gotta talk about Sazanami. Yeah, they go into the fucking like bar, and everybody's like, yeah, give us some milk, give us a fucking hamburger, give us fucking ramen or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And the bartender's like, you're obviously making fun of me because you're like 12 years old and you walked to my bar and asked for milk. I'm gonna kick the shit out of you.
Yeah. You know, and like Naruto, you know, and then like Naruto does the whole dance of like, what? We have money, and then like pulls out his fucking fat wallet. And like I said, the nearest large bald man. And then, you know, violence happens.
Yeah, fucking Sazanami steps in and he pulls out his fucking ridiculous, like, rifle butt katana.
I love his sword so
it's
fucking
so good.
much. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. The, like, handle of his sword is just, like, it's not quite all the way a rifle stock, but it's just, like, it is shaped just enough to, like, convey that, and it is, like, so fucking slick. It's really good. Right? And then the fucking Suva has, like, it's like a squared off, but, like, there's, like, circular cutouts that read very much like gun chambers in a revolver.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just, like, it's so good. It's so good. It's so good.
Right. And, like, Sazanami is also, like, a swordsmith guy, right? So, like, made it this way on purpose, right? Like,
Absolutely. And like the other bounty hunter, which like we haven't seen. Well, we have seen him because he is in this like fight, like bar scene, but like he doesn't fucking say anything. He's just like there.
Right, like Sazanami was like, "Oh damn, did I like take this bounty away from you before you could?"
Yeah, right. He's like, "Sorry, bro." Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, they have a thing going. We'll get into it. But yeah, like the other bounty hunter's like weapon is like really really interesting too, right? Like I want to talk about like the other bounty hunter's weapon because like it's also really good. It also like the other bounty hunter is like what made me like really 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 impressed with like the way that they like stylize Cowboy Town, because like his big like iron war club thing like also invokes like a gun.
I guess I didn't pick up on this, right? Please go on about this.
It looks like a fucking cannon. It looks specifically like a type of like huge fucking like shoulder mounted cannon that like was present in Sengoku period Japan.
Okay.
Right, and like having that in Cowboy Town is like, okay, that invokes like a firearm, right? Because like you can see like the barrel and like the muzzle shape on like the pommel end of the big war club, and like we actually never really see him use it, so it could just be a fuck huge cannon.
Yeah, because this is a guy who mostly just like hangs back and is like, yeah, I'll let the plot resolve itself, and then we'll like step in.
Yeah, I'm gonna interpret this as like a big fuck huge cannon instead of just a war club, because that's badass.
But it's also got like spikes on it, so like obviously hitting guys with it too.
Right. But like I just think it's interesting to like have that weapon that invokes a firearm in Cowboy Town, but then alludes to this other like aesthetic inspiration. Pulling in the more like Naruto standard like, you know, influences, and I think that is like actually really 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 smart and like a really good design for like a character that is like literally nothing, by the way. Like this guy is like nobody.
Right, like I also feel like his presence here is like winds up being like kind of characteristic of like I feel like this arc kind of like winds up pinging back and forth between like being like weirdly efficient and like clean with its setup, and also like just kind of making huge leaps, right? Like I feel like the fact that this guy is like there is like, you know, that there's some like fairly economical setup of like, you know, the way like Sazanami was like, oh, you're also like a bounty hunter guy, huh? And you're just like, sorry about like taking your bounty here, right? Like it's like very it's like kind of slick, right? In a way that like I feel like a lot of the times
yeah, just like give them a chance to be a little bit flirty right at the beginning.
It's like, you know, we're setting up this guy for later. We're showing you how fucking cool Sazanami is. He like takes out this bald guy who's like about to like try and cause problems with Naruto. But also he's like, you know, he's like he doesn't want the bounty for himself. He's like, you know, he's like kind of altruistic, or maybe he's got something else going on, right? It's just very like, yeah, like it feels like the people make this were like very like united in terms of like, oh, we need to make the Shuichi Ikeda guy be fucking cool. So like we're all gonna like, you know, we're all gonna be doing our best towards that front, and like, you know, it's like kind of hit or miss sometimes, right? But They really want to put this guy over with the audience, I feel like.
Yeah.
No, is there anything else you want to say about like introduction to Sazanami?
Well, first off, she's a woman.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, very important.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, not to get too into it, but you know, there's evidence.
There's evidence. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, she's got a dead name and everything, right?
Right. I feel like I'll get into this a little bit later, but like I think like a lot of the times you're like eagerness to like see her like a minor Naruto character is like, you know, I think it's fun to go along with it, but I'm not like bought in. But you know, I there's like a little bit of, like I can kind of see it if we want to go there, right? Like just in terms of like I don't know, like I don't know. I'll get back around to that, right?
Alright, ready to move on?
I'm ready to move on.
Now that they're way out of town, Sazanami tells the kids that even if they're kids, she can't have Shinobi going around after the same bounty she needs, and draws her sword. You know, for killing. They tussle, and she manages to knock the kids out, and they wake up in the middle of the night and rush off, while Sazanami fights their guy. Sort of a needle wizard? Well, she gets way too needled, and the kids all show up and chase off their bounty with a lots of shadow clones in the dark bluff. Sazanami tells the kids not to go after the needle wizard, and then collapses from her injuries. While tending to her wounds, Hinata notices that she has the same bird-shaped birthmark as a wanted man named Tokichi.
Right. So, we've got, like... I mean, like, it's very par for the course that if you have, like, a Shuichi Ikeda guy, like... there needs to be a betrayal in there somewhere, right? Like, there needs to be, like a double cross. Like, this is just, like, this is...
Absolutely.
Like just kind of, like, some level of typecasting that Shuichi Ikeda goes through, but, like, it's fine, because, like, he's great at it, he's got a cool voice, he's, like, and so he's like, yeah, all right, it's time for me to kill these children or whatever. Like, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna kill you now or whatever. But then, like, also obviously he's like, hitting them with the butt of his sword and like making sure he's not actually injuring them because he's like a cool guy. She's like,
Yeah, she's like a cool guy.
She's like a cool guy, right? I feel like the action in this episode like winds up being at kind of like cross purposes a little bit because like here in this fight, right? Like you have like Sazanami like doing really good and like instantly taking out like Naruto and Kiba and Hinata. Like it's just fucking effortless for her. But like then also she needs to like go and fight Ghost and Kugi like a little bit later, and like needs to do like really bad at it.
Right.
Like there's just like so little time. Like we don't have like enough for like a bit of a back and forth in the fight here. Like she's just gonna like step out to fight Ghost and Kugi and like step on some nails and then get blasted by more nails, and then and then she's like done for, right? Then she is like weakened from her injuries until she needs to not be, so she can go be in the plot more.
Right, and like I can see like with a little bit more care afforded to like the exploring the like power sets and like the action scenes and like the action like writing for this little arc. Like I can see a version of this that like got cut down that is like she goes in, the guy has like a special ability that she didn't know about and like gets got by it because she's caught off guard, and then is like able to convey that to the kids for them to like formulate a plan around that, and then like go take him out like as Shinobi because I think that is something that like Shinobi should be better at doing than bounty hunters, is like taking on like weird ninja powers,
right?
And like being able to like work around like somebody's gimmick.
But like it very much like winds up being a thing where it's like, oh, like just effortlessly defeating the kids, but then like Ghost and Kugi does one thing and then she's just down. Like that's
right.
Which is like fine. We got like 2 episodes. We got a lot to cover, but also it winds up being like a little bit disappointing. You kind of want like when you get like the coolest guy ever, you kind of want to see her do more things.
Right. This would have been like a fucking killer 3-episode arc. Right.
Yeah,
if they just did it 3 episodes and how I liked it.
Right. Yeah. If they just did it if they just did it good, right? They didn't bother making that bad episode to be like we didn't like before this, and they just use that to make another good episode of this, and like really like you just fill up those like few like weird like points where it feels like it's kind of like leaping through things, or like not bothering to really like set up like the booking for the fights and the staging for everything right. Like if they just did it good, right?
Right. Yeah. No. Exactly. The story of it's good. Like the story of it's good. Like the story, like it's got good bones. It's got good bones.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got good meat and dressing too, right? Like it's got it. But like you can see where those 2 episodes are constraining.
Absolutely. Like there are some like, and this is like more of a next episode thing, but I think there are like some real fucking like leaps in terms of like, oh shit, we gotta like do the plot here quick.
Yeah.
Do you want to get into that next episode? Or is there anything else you want to talk about? Like, because I feel like we don't touch on like the stuff at the end here, where like they like find out about like her dead name, and
they find out about her dead name.
Yeah, Hinata like fucking gets like put into the fucking like I need to heal like Sazanami role here, like because she's the girl, which is kind of disappointing, right? Like,
honestly, it would be so cute if Kiba was that person here.
Right, like if Kiba had like some degree of like like wounds treating, because like oh yeah, like his family's like caring for dogs, and like sometimes dogs get hurt or whatever. Sometimes you need to be like mindful of like like
like literally exactly like that's exactly what it was thinking, right? Like Kiba being the like one who offers care because he is routinely like in like a caring position for like an animal he fights with, right?
Right, yeah. And, like, his medical knowledge is, like, a little, like, off, because, again, he's, like, mostly there to, like, care for dogs or whatever, but he can still, like, put a bandage on.
Yeah, like, he can still, like, dress wounds. Like, there's no reason not to, like, have that skill set if you're, like, already doing it for your dog anyway, and you're also a ninja, right? Like...
Yeah, no, it definitely feels like that's, like, such a missed opportunity. If they, like, bothered to, like, you know, make it be, like, a characterful thing, which character in each squad wind up, like, doing, like, the healing stuff, right?
Yeah. Instead of just picking the girl every time?
Yeah. Fucking Shikamaru's family, like, literally are, like, medical, like, researchers. Like, come on.
Literally. Oh my god. You, like, wouldn't know it, is the thing.
Right. Okay, do you want to move on?
Yeah. Episode 160, Hunt or Be Hunted, Showdown at the OK Temple. Sazanami wakes up and struggles against her injuries. The kids press her on the bounty and she explains how she's actually innocent, and the guy thereafter killed the 3 people she's wanted for, and how she used to live as a swordsmith when she came upon the murdered family and fled prosecution. The kids trust her, but need to take care of the mission no matter what. She concedes and lets them go after Ghost and Kugi. A rival bounty hunter arrives to maybe take Sazanami in, and the kids figure their mark is after a fuck-huge golden bell.
We got kind of like the cliffhanger from the last episode hanging over. It was like, oh shit, they learned about, like, you know, Sazanami is actually a wanted criminal, you know, and they're like, okay, shit, we need to, like, we need to question, we need to, like, figure out what's up, you know. They have this moment of being, like, pretty pretty concerned about that, but, like, you know, obviously this is going to be, like, resolved very quickly as soon as Sazanami, like, explains anything. But, like, you know, we need this moment of tension, right? Like, you know, we don't have a lot of time to sit in it. I think this is maybe not a casualty of, like, the fact that we only have 2 episodes here.
Yeah. God, can you imagine if Sazanami had to, like, fight them for, like, a little bit?
Mm-hmm. Right, and, like, it was like dodgier now, right? Because, like, she was, like, wounded from the previous fight, right? So, like...
Right, can you imagine if it was, like, even if the kids didn't think it was that big of a deal, if, like, being confronted by, like, hey, what's up with this?
Mm-hmm.
What's going on? Just made her leave the scene immediately?
Right, yeah. It would be, like... That'd be, like, a little more room for that, but, like, you know, ultimately we'll get there, and she's gonna, like, explain what's up pretty straightforwardly. Mm-hmm. You know, we get, like, her backstory about being a swordsmith, right? And I feel like when we look at, like, flashbacks Sazanami, I feel like this is, like, one of my favorite, like, or, like, one of the strongest, like, components of, like, it's fun to think of this character as, like, a trans girl, right?
Yeah.
Because you look at, like, fucking her when she was, like, making swords in this village or whatever, right? And it's like, it's this extremely, like the way she looks, it's like this, like, extremely, like, kind of, like, meek, like, you know, like held back, trying to, you know, like, it feels very, like, you know, like, pre-transition, like, early transition, like, just trying to, like, you know, like fit in, like, you know, not draw attention to yourself, like, you know, be as out of the way as possible, and then you, like, look at her, like, more presently, and it's very much like, you know, you probably, like, we've probably all seen some trans women who are, like, you know, they're a little, like, more confident, like, where they're at, they're, like, willing to, like, let themselves be a little less, like, you know, trying to constrain like what, like, passing means, like, really lean into that, into a kind of, like, hot way, right? Like, you know, I feel like there's like a fun texture to that if you want to, like,
I love it when she has the sexy fucking cowboy stubble.
Right, yeah.
Right,
like,
oh my god.
Girls should be allowed to have some sexy cowboy stubble if they want.
Literally! Oh my god, yeah. Anyway, also, like, literally, like, oh, I'm, like, a poor, like, outcast swordsmith living on the edge of town, all by myself, delivering swords to people in the middle of the night.
Mm-hmm.
On the day of a festival, because nobody wanted to go with me, and I was busy, and I, you know, need to do my work to live, right?
Yeah.
But, like, yeah. Nobody else is, like, committed to that lonely style as I am, which is why I was, like, singled out as, like, the sole person who wasn't there. You know.
Yeah.
Very, So, like, yeah, she's definitely trans femme, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm willing to go with you on this one.
Okay, good. I'm glad. I'm glad we can say that, like, a tranny is the coolest guy in Naruto.
Oh shit! This is like a new slur for the podcast. Yeah, but, you know, she's like, you know, like you said, she's, like, making her swords. She's, like, going to deliver one. while everybody's at a festival, she goes and finds that the family she's delivering a sword to is dead. And all the towns like come out, they're like, damn, everybody here was like stabbed with like weird blades, and like you don't have that sword, but you could have made it because you're like a fucking sword making freak.
You're a sword pervert tranny. We're gonna kill you.
Christ. Oh my god.
Sorry, I'm insane about this character.
It's okay. I'm just like, right, like the reasoning by which they decide that like Sazanami must have like killed these people is like one of the things like, well, this seems like a huge leap and like a weird like stretch or whatever. And I was like struck by this when I watched the episodes. Like, is this like another thing where they're like just not they just don't have the time to like really establish this, but then like literally at the end of this episode, like getting ahead of ourselves, but like literally at the end of this episode, fucking like somebody's like, I can't believe you did such a bad job like investigating this murder, and instantly assumed that Sazanami did just because she makes swords.
Just because she's transgender.
So like I guess they maybe get like some points for like be like, oh wait, this was like a weird like ridiculous like leap that these people made. There's other stuff in here that's a little it's like I'm a little like more less willing to let slide, but
yeah.
Naruto hears the story and like obviously he's moved. He's like, oh damn, that sucks. Like I want you to have a good life, but like I've got my mission to the leap and I can't budge on that. I got to go do that. And like they all like leave, but then they're all like thinking about Sazanami as they head off to go do the mission. The other bounty hunter guy shows up and it's like, I could take you in right now. I could kill you right now because you're injured, but I'm just gonna let those kids like try and capture Ghost and Kugi, and then I'm gonna like probably take you all in, right? And he's like, posturing as like this kind of evil guy or whatever. Before we cut away from that, and then the kids all arrive in like the big town where like, they talk about how this is the big city in this town where like all the like commerce and everything is like run by monks, and they've got this big temple in the center of the village, and they've got this like big golden bell, and they're like instantly like, okay, so like. This is a thing that I'm like very like I'm a little bit thrown by, right? In the sense of like, I don't think there's even like set up for them going to this town to like look for Ghost Kugi. Right. They're just there suddenly and they see like a big shiny belt and they're like, damn, if I was like a fucked up criminal, I'd love to steal that big gold bell. Ghost Kugi must be doing that. I like they're right. But it's also like
just right.
But like it just feels like a weird leap from like, oh yeah, Ghost Kugi is the guy who like he's got his like little gang or whatever, and they go around and like they like kill people for money or whatever, like doing this big like ostentatious, we're gonna steal the like famous landmark of this town that they're like transporting on ropes right now for some reason.
Yeah, it gets taken down every year for polishing.
Yeah.
Or they just melt it down and cast a new one every single year. It's like part of the ceremony.
Is gold a bad bell material? Because I feel like it would be.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Like, that's what I thought, right? Because you want to be, like, bashing that thing.
Yeah, that's why they melt it down every year, because it has huge dents in it.
Yeah. It's just, like, a weird object. Like, it's just a weird, like, oh, here's the valuable thing that they steal. But also, like, the fact that it's, like, so central and so, like, it seems, like, very inconvenient to, like, move and, like, sell off or whatever. Makes me feel like it's like a bad target for when you're like a gang of like 6 guys or whatever.
Yeah. Like, how could you think you could get away with that? Like, what would you do with it? Like, you would like cut it up and melt it down, and then sell the bars independently to lots of different people, right? But like,
right. That's like such a large scale operation, right?
Right. That's a lot of fucking gold.
Right. Like, surely the fucking, like, temple that, like, manages all of the fucking, like, commerce in the town or whatever would just have, like, money in a more stealable form than the big gold bell.
Right.
Like I guess the answer is they've got, like, there's some, like, action they stage around the bell in the, like, second half of this episode, but, like, it's not that, like, good or whatever, right? It's not like there's, like, a fun bell set piece. It's just kind of, like, there's, like, a bell set piece, but it's, like, just okay, right? Like, it's,
Actually, you know what? If I was going to steal the bell, you know what I would do?
What would you do?
For the part where they're like hoisting it across, like over the river, I would set the stage. I would stage it so that the bell like falls into the river and like gets like swept downstream, and so it becomes a game of like, oh shit, where's the bell? But I would be using my ninja abilities to actually just take it with me while I go, and like
Okay,
just make it look as though it like got swept down the downstream, and like, oh shit, where'd the bell go? And then people will be like, oh, the bell fell in the river. Like let's find the bell.
Right,
and not realizing that actually you just stole the whole fucking thing.
Right, because like most of the criminals and the people hunting criminals I hear are like not ninja guys, right? So they're not really like necessarily prepared for like like ninja tricks,
like ninja tricks and shinobi tactics. That's I don't know. I guess I'm gonna like revive having a fucking Naruto like OC that I play pretend as on the podcast. As a sand village, Jonin. Abandoned, by the way. I kind of left that shit. Anyway, that's what I would do.
Yeah, okay. I mean, do you guys want to say what the bell is half of the episode, or should we move on?
No, let's move on.
Okay.
The kids muse about Ghost and Cookie's plans before being jumped by Ghost and Cookie goons. Ghost and Goons? Sazanami turns up to help them fight. She and the kids kill each and every goon.
They literally don't.
And catch up to Gus and Cookie, hauling the bell into a boat via zipline. There's a struggle, and Sazanavi ends up on the boat with him. And they both get captured by the rival bounty hunter. But the other bounty hunter ends up helping her clear her name. He introduces himself as Gatsu, and I think they're dating now? The kids run home all proud of themselves for helping until they realize that they actually, like, super failed the mission.
Okay, I need to like fucking go back on you talking about how they kill all of the goons, because in the scene where they're like beating up the goons, there's this bit which is really fucking funny to me, where like Sazanami just like a big sword swing and like hits the guy, and the guy is just fucking down, and then she's like, I hit you with the flat of my sword or whatever. It's like it's just really fucking funny to me.
Yeah.
Just like killing sword with my sword, but like, actually that was not lethal, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Like they don't have like the animation like muscle in this fucking like episode to like communicate him like or like specifically like not like harming the goon when she's like slashing him with a sword.
She could have just kept the sword in the scabbard.
Right.
People do that all the time. That's like a thing.
Oh, no, but before that, like, so they talk about like, what could Ghost and Cookie's plan be to like take the bell, and it seems like basically Ghost and Cookie just takes the bell. It seems like basically effortlessly it just like attacks everybody at the temple and like takes it like doesn't even try to like get it while it's being like transported. Like goes to where its destination is and like beats up everybody there, and then just puts it to like a different like waiting rope setup.
Really, he could have done this whatever.
Right, like there's like so little fucking like resistance or whatever, right? Like if anything, he has made this harder by like doing this at a time where there's like more attention than average on the bell. Like it's just
this guy rules. He's like so smart.
He's learned that he can just show up and do fucking whatever. He's like calculated the exact angle at which he could like cut the rope while the bell is sliding out of it, so it like fucking lands in his like dinky little rowboat without like capsizing it.
Which like no fucking way, right? No fucking way that boat holds the bell. Period.
Right.
It holds heavy as fuck.
Right. I mean, like it's fucking. I don't need to fucking cinema it, but I'm just like the instant the gold bell is like introduced, I'm like, this doesn't like. It
doesn't work.
The plot is just happening for the sake of the fact that it needs to keep happening, and there's like so little done to like grease those wheels. It just like, yeah, there's the bell. Ghost Cookie's definitely gonna steal it. How's he gonna steal it? Well, he's gonna take it with no friction or like challenge from like any of the people who like are ostensibly guarding this, right? And then he's gonna leave.
The thing that bothers me the most about the bell plot is that it doesn't fucking matter. Like there was already like there was enough going on already.
Right. Yeah.
Like it could have just been like a straight up confrontation in the middle of a fucking field or whatever, and like it would have had like more substance than whatever the fuck the bell thing is going on.
Right.
Like just let the fucking characters do their things at each other and then like finish the thing, right? Like it doesn't have to be that complicated.
It doesn't.
But yeah, like fucking bell chase, fucking rope boat.
Right, it's I think it's very funny that Naruto defeats Ghost and Kugi's technique by just putting a bunch of shadow clones in front of him and having them get hit by nails and then just continue to move forward.
Yeah. Yeah, right. And I do like that. I do like that as like staging, as like Naruto learning to like use, well, not learning to use, but like it is like a good example of Naruto like using the clones interestingly.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because like even though the like actual scene or whatever is kind of just like needle throw into clone into get punched,
Mm-hmm.
it's still very like the thing that Naruto is doing is interesting and cool, right? Like he is like throwing the clones ahead of him, knowing they're going to get popped, and like using the smoke screen that they cause to like approach and get the jump on him, right? Like that is, I don't know, it's that is like an interesting thing to, I don't know, I just think like having that be the thing does a good job of like showing like where Naruto's at with like, you know, the way he's thinking about a fight. And like that is like important, and like that is something that like we don't get in the anime medium so much, that I think is like, you know,
right. And it's like, you know, nice to see him do something like kind of like character building. Yeah, this just like resolve the situation he's in, like smartly using the tools he has, like after so some of our earlier stuff this week.
Yeah.
I am like, so something that I think about with this episode is like, because we cut so jarringly from like, okay, we're like leaving Sazanami behind in the fucking like shed where she's hurt, and then we're gonna like be in the town. Like it's like unclear how much time passes. So I don't know how weird it is that Sazanami is just fucking fine again in the like climax here.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
So they make such a big deal about her being like injured and like needing to stay back, and then she just like catches up to them and is able to like do everything just as good as them, and like is like key to the fight, right? She's like sliding down the fucking rope with him. Naruto's like, don't worry about it, you're fine, and then she's like, oh yeah, I'm fine, I'm not injured anymore. I can grind down this fucking rope and then like jump onto the boat and like fight Ghost Kugi, but like slice through his big nail that he has.
Well, wasn't there the scene where like when she gets like bound up onto the bell by the other bounty hunter guy, like it fucking pops her wound back open and she starts bleeding out?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, I think they do a good job of like showing that like, oh, this character is like still hurt.
Okay.
And then in those like action scenes.
I guess, yeah. Well, I guess I'm the fool.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's also fine if you missed that and thought it was like a little bit jarring that like she was there in the first place, right? Like that's totally like a reasonable read. I just like, you know, I just had like remembered and like interpreted the situation otherwise, and like I like just watched the episodes.
Yeah, I guess that is also true. It's been like hours since I watched those episodes last. You watched them like an hour ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, Sazanami like defeats Ghost and Kugi on the boat. You know, it's like, I'm not going to kill you because I need you to like confess to your crimes so I can like, you know, have my innocence restored. And then, you know, the other bounty hunter shows up, fucking binds him up with chains. Like, yeah, I'm gonna like, I'm gonna take credit for all this and get the rewards. And then like, actually, it turns out he's like nice or whatever.
Yeah. He's here to back up his trans girlfriend.
Yeah, he's like, what the fuck did you, like, you just thought she fucking did the murder because she makes swords? You fucking assholes. Do better murder investigations next time. So, you know, we get that one weird point, like, directly resolved.
Also, another reason that she's transgender is that she's, her town didn't like her because she has a sword.
Okay. Alright, I see. This is the, like, the subtle imagery.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That the anime original Naruto staff are like working in as part of their deep commitment to trans representation.
Yeah, literally. I mean, it's just the only read that there is.
Mm-hmm. Did you have anything to say about them dating now? Like, you seem very like adamant about this read. Is there anything? Well,
I mean, I just think it would be cute. I mean, I just think the scene where like he's like backing her up like is like really like cute for the two of them, and like I think the way that like they interacted leading up to that point, when you think of it like that, right, in retrospect, it like reads very, very flirty.
Okay.
You know, and I think it is very much the case of like, okay, well, like, here's the fan fiction, right? Like here's what's going on, right? Like if we're gonna get into it, we're gonna get into it. I think what's happening is that they clearly, like, they're both bounty hunters, right?
Yeah.
They know each other from work.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like rival bounty hunters, and so they interact sometime, right? There's like a familiar playfulness in that like first scene where like Sazanami was like, "Oh, was that your guy?" Right? Like,
right, yeah. Like maybe like maybe there's been like a few times where like Gatsu's like tried to take Sazanami in before, but like maybe there was that like room for doubt about like whether or not Sazanami was guilty. That like maybe gradually like grew into something more, and
right, and like. In that pursuit, you had a lot of like close interaction, and it's very much like a bounty hunter and his target getting into a little bit of like playful banter and like teasing and like feelings can develop there, and then when and like I do think it is mutual, right? Like I do think it was mutual like from the get go, but like Sazanami, had her baggage, and didn't want to like open up and like become vulnerable in that way to somebody else quite yet. And I think it is like very meaningful that like Gatsu took those steps to like show that he was someone that could be trusted, and like instead of like bringing her in and he like helped her clear her name and like was very like vocal and like adamant in her defense. And I think that is like and I think where they go from here is like
like obviously Sazanami doesn't want to like go back to that village or whatever. Like clearly that like you're not gonna be able to rebuild like kind of like trust those people. They like wanted you dead for years based on nothing, right? So like maybe
like
maybe this line work doesn't have to be so lonely anymore.
Yeah,
okay. That's
literally
beautiful.
exactly.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Like, and it's like I'm barely doing any work here.
Yeah, that's how that wraps up. And yeah, we get the like again like the sort of like recurring beat of like Naruto being like, oh wow, we really resolved everything and had this like great like emotional like resolution, but then he thinks about how he's going to go back home and he didn't actually complete the mission, and Tsunade's going to yell at him or whatever. And again, it's just like it's weird that this also ends like that, right? Like the first episode, like the last shot is like Naruto getting chased out of Tsunade's office as she's like yelling at him for endangering children. And like this episode ends with like him imagining her yelling at him for like failing this mission. Like is this just like
like literally I wonder if like the writers for these episodes are like given format guidelines.
Like, are we just going to be like, oh, Naruto is like the knucklehead guy, he keeps like pissing off his boss by not doing the job right, but like he does connect people along the way. Like are we in for like this being the like defining characteristic of the next stretch of Naruto in the same way that like trying to find Sasuke and getting nowhere was like the thing for the previous stretch?
Yeah.
Who knows? I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, and if you can't wait, check out our Patreon. Patreon.com/Konoha Crush. All one word, Konoha Crush.
Fuck yeah.
What episode's next time, by the way? I totally forgot to ask.
161, 162, and 163.
Nice. And if you can't wait, that thing I said before. Images talked about during the episode can be found on our Twitter, twitter.com/Konoha Crush. All one word, Konoha Crush. We have a Tumblr now too, KonohaCrushcast.tumblr.com. We have a YouTube channel where we post the podcast episodes. And that's all the way up to date now, and will like continue to be because we have it set up to go automatically now. So like if you would rather follow us there, you can follow us there. We're on Spotify, basically wherever you look for podcasts. If like wherever you're listening to this right now is like maybe kind of a pain in the ass, and it would cause you to like maybe not keep up with the show. I get it. So I'd implore you to find us elsewhere. And hey, if you love the show, if you're a huge fan, if you like hearing me talk about like which Naruto characters are secretly girls, like here's the deal. There was a bone. Sorry.
What's the bone?
There was a bone. Patreon.com/Konoha Crush. Anyway, $3 a month, you get access to episodes up to a week early. And $5 you get access to our bonus show, Narukai Uzumaki. Right now we're watching through Log Horizon, the first season of that. So we'll be recording that next month here pretty soon. And so, look forward to that. While we're on the Patreon, I want to offer a very special thanks to our joining tier patrons, Izzy and wife of the show, Rife.
Yay.
Check out their streams at twitch.tv/SpaceGator. God, where else? What else is there to say? Yeah, we stream on Twitch. Twitch.tv/GoinTVRT. For me, I play like Zelda and draw, and I'm playing like Divinity on Fridays, except for like when I play Naruto instead.
Mm-hmm.
And you also stream?
Yeah,
right?
I stream on Twitch. I'm at twitch.tv/VerdictVelvet. I'm playing through every Fire Emblem game every Wednesday. I sit down for about 4 hours to play a few stages of a Fire Emblem game. I'll be through with all those eventually, but that's gonna be a while. Ostensibly, I do other streams other times of the week. I'm figuring that out. Maybe I move those around. Maybe I don't do that. Who knows? But at the very least, I'm that's where I'm at.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you want to say?
Fuck no.
Fuck yeah. All right. Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening. And remember, there is no such thing as filler.